Hi, I'm Mrs McTaggart. Welcome to this video on calculating time. This is part of a series of lessons on speed, distance and time. Our intention is to be able to calculate the time taken on a given journey, as long as you know your speed and your distance, and there will be an element of converting between simple decimal times. So a wee recap, you've probably seen this maybe if you've seen any of the other videos, but just in case, because teachers sometimes do speed, distance and time in different orders. So be reminded that 15 minutes is 1/4 of an hour, and a quarter as a decimal is 0.25. You should know a quarter as a percentage is 25%, which is your 0.25 as a decimal. 30 minutes is a half of an hour, and a half as a decimal is 0.5. And then the last one, 45 minutes, can be referred to as 3/4 of an hour, which is 0.75. Technically, it is 3 of that one. Now, the reason we have to do this is some of your answers will maybe come out today as 3.5, and you would then have to write that is 3 hours, and instead of 5 or 50 minutes, which pupils write, you would say, oh, that's 3 hours 30. Or if you came out with 1.25 as an answer, you would say, oh, that's 1 1/4 hours, so that is 1 hour 15 minutes. So this is why we need to just recap these before we go on. You'll also meet different units of speed, and if you haven't been talked about speed before, this first one, mph, stands for miles per hour. The second one stands for kilometres per hour. And the last one is meters, excuse my writing there, meters per second. And we'll probably use that one if you're talking about really fast runners, okay? Okay, so rather than rush in and just tell you the formula or the method for working out time, I want us to look at this example and maybe see if we can figure out, using a bit of common sense, what the formula is going to be. So imagine you're going on holiday and the destination is 800 miles from Glasgow. The pilot tells you that you're travelling at 200 miles per hour, but he forgets to say how long the flight's going to take. How long do you think it's going to take you? So this 200 mph means that you can travel in 200 miles per hour. So every hour you can go 200. So 1 hour would be 200, 2 hours would be 400, 3 hours would be 600, and 4 hours would be 800. So you say, oh, it takes you 4 hours. But what sum are we really doing there? I know I counted up, but you're seeing how many 200s go into 800, aren't you? So you're really doing 800 divided by 200 to get the answer of 4. Now 800 was your distance, the 200 was your speed, and that gave us our time. So to get time, you do your distance divided by your speed. Okay? So here is your formula here. You might want to shorten this to distance divided by speed. I will also do it as this. I will do it as D over S, which also means distance divided by speed. Okay, so my first example I always like to do without a calculator. So we want to find our time when our distance is 250 miles. How long will it take a train with a speed of 100 miles per hour? So our formula is time equals distance divided by speed. Our distance is 250 miles and our speed is 100 miles per hour. So we're doing 250 divided by 100. Now, several ways of doing this. 250 divided by 100 means moving that imaginary decimal point at the end of 2 places. So it's going to go in there and become 2.5. You might also just be able to look at it and say, well, 100 goes in 2.5 times. So it's 2.5 hours. Now, all my examples I should have said, we like our answers in hours and minutes for time calculations. So 2.5 hours can then be written as 2 hours, and 0.5 was a half, so that was 30 minutes. Please do not ever say that 2.5 hours is 2 hours 50, okay? It's 2.5, 2 hours 30 for your final answer. Okay, in this example, we are talking about a cyclist. So we're asking, the average speed of a cyclist is 24 kilometres per hour. How long will it take them to cycle 90 kilometres? So let's start with a formula. So time equals distance divided by speed, which is now your distance. This time I've put it the other way around. Your distance is 90 and your speed is 24. So you do 90 divided by 24 on your calculator and it gives you 3.75 hours. but all my answers we want to then convert into hours and minutes. So 3.75 is 3 full hours. 0.75 is 3 quarters. So that is 3 hours 45 minutes. Okay, what you do not do is say that that's 3 hours 75, which becomes 4 hours 15. That's the silliest mistake we see, so be very, very careful with these decimals at the end, okay? And the last example, I am asking what time will I arrive at work if I leave at 7:55 and travel for 15 miles at a speed of 60 miles per hour. So let's just work out what our time will be for the journey first of all. So time equals distance divided by speed. My distance is 15 miles to work and my speed is 60. So if you do 15 divided by 60 on your calculator, it will come out with 0.25. So it won't even take me a full hour, right? I don't live that far away. So 0.25 hours is a quarter of an hour, so it's going to take 15 minutes. Now the extra bit to this question says you are leaving at 7:55. You need to count on 15 minutes. So 5 minutes takes you to 8 o'clock. You've got another 10 minutes to go. So I will arrive at work at 8 a.m. Okay, so 8:10 a.m. So thanks very much. Hopefully you followed those examples. Okay, this is a point where you would pause the video and try some questions for yourself. For each one, we're just using the same formula. I've given the first 3 to please try them without a calculator if you can. And then the last 6, definitely use a calculator. And remember, for each answer, once you get your decimal, we want your answer in hours and minutes, all right? And then here are your answers, all written in hours and minutes. And thank you very much.